Okay, let's get started talking about this model here. The model you're seeing here is the model of the artery and the vein. So this entire middle structure here is going to be your artery, and on either side, left side is the vein and right side is a vein. So the entire structure again here is an artery, the entire structure here is a vein, and the entire structure here is also a vein. You know that this is an artery and vein for two reasons. One, the thickness of the walls. So in an artery you have a thick cell wall, and then in a vein you have a thin wall. So again, your artery has a thick wall and your veins have thin walls. Also, you know that this is a vein because it has valves in it. Veins have valves, arteries do not. Okay? So again, make sure you can identify which one of these is an artery and which ones, these two on the outside, are veins. Now let's talk about the layers of those vessel walls. You have the outside layer here called the tunica externa, externa for external layer. This one here in pink, this is going to be your tunica media, media for middle. And then here in the orange is going to be your tunica intima or tunica interna. You can use either term. If you think of intima, like your intimates that you wear all the way on the inside, being like your bras and your panties, that makes sense that this would be called your tunica intima. So again, the layers are this outside layer, tunica externa, the middle layer here, tunica media, and the internal layers here and here, tunica intima or tunica interna. Then you also have this pink band here. If I ask you what tissue this is, it would be smooth muscle tissue. Okay, so let's go over the way things would be asked on a practical. If I said this entire structure, identify this entire structure, you would tell me artery. Identify this entire structure, vein. If I say ID this entire structure, you would tell me a vein as well. If I asked you what this layer is tunica externa. Identify this layer would be tunica media, and identify this layer here in orange would be your tunica intima or your tunica interna. Going back down to this pink band here, if I asked you what this tissue is, you would tell me smooth muscle tissue. So this pink band has two different questions that can be asked, leading to two different answers. If I ask you what this layer is, you will tell me tunica media. If I ask you what tissue this is, you would tell me smooth muscle tissue. Okay. Now let's move on to another artery and vein you have to know. Bear with me, I'm trying to grab a bunch of different models. So this is your liver. So if we turn it around, this is your liver. We're going to turn it on the inferior side here. And you will see this red vessel right here. That red vessel is your hepatic artery proper. So again, this red vessel right here is your hepatic artery proper. And the purple vessel here would be your hepatic vein. So red, hepatic artery proper, blue, hepatic vein. Now we have another organ here. This is your stomach. And around the stomach, going all the way around the stomach, you have this artery. This artery is called your gastric artery. So if you have gastric bypass, that's a surgery that they do on the stomach. So anything that says gastric means related to the stomach. So here you have your gastric artery, and it encircles the stomach. Okay, now moving on to the intestines here. So remember when you're naming this that your right is your patient's left and your left is your patient's right. Okay, so going right here, you have this upper circle here. This upper circle here is going to be your right colic. So if I say identify this pink, it would be your right colic artery. If I say identify this purple, it would be your right colic vein. Going underneath that one now, in this bottom circle right here, if I say identify the purple, it would be your right ileocolic. If I say identify the pink, it would be your right ileocolic artery. So again, up here you have your right colic, artery, and vein. The artery is going to be pink and the vein is going to be purple. Down here you have the right ileocolic artery and vein. The right ileocolic vein is going to be in purple. The right ileocolic artery is going to be in pink. Okay, so right colic artery and vein, right ileocolic artery and vein. Then moving to the left side here, all of this right here is going to be your your left colic artery and vein. So left colic artery and vein. And then all of this going to this bend down here. So this is a bend in the large intestines. This bend is called the sigmoid. So all of this going down to this bend of the large intestines is called the sigmoid artery and vein. So again, the artery would be in pink and the vein would be in purple. So again, all this up here is going to be your left colic, and all of this down here is going to be your sigmoid artery and vein. So let's go over that one more time. This upper circle right here is going to be your right colic artery and vein. This circle down here is going to be your right ileocolic artery and vein. All of this up here is going to be your left colic artery and vein. And then all this down here at the bottom is going to be your sigmoid artery and vein. Remember, on this model, our artery is in pink and our vein is in purple. Okay, now moving on to our arm. Let me grab that model real quick. Okay, let me back up my camera so you can see a little bit more of it. Okay, let me see if I can, I was gonna see if I could adjust my little camera here. No, it won't go anywhere. Okay, so I'll move the model as needed. Okay, so this is your upper part of your arm, and we'll go up to the fingertips in just a second. So I'm gonna be moving the camera here. So right here at the upper part of the arm, this is going to be your underarm. This is your axillary artery in red. Axillary artery. Now we're moving up the arm. This is the brachial area right here. So this is going to be your brachial artery. Then you move up to the forearm right here, which is going to be, I'm going to tilt my camera here. Right here on the thumb side is going to be your radial artery. You see it in red there. And then over here on my pinky side, whoops, sorry about that. On my pinky side is going to be my ulnar artery. So let's go through those again. We're going back down to the bottom side of the arm. Right here, this is going to be under the underarm. So this is going to be your axillary artery. Going up to where we flex those muscles, up here is the brachial area. So the red here is going to be your brachial artery. Going into the forearm now. In the forearm, we have an artery right here, which is going to be on thumb side. This is going to be your radial artery. Then we have the artery right here going towards the pinky. This is going to be your ulnar artery. Then in the palm here, you have the palmar arch. And all of the red arteries going up to the fingers up here will be your digital arteries. Again, one more time, going down to the top of the arm here, you have the axillary artery, brachial artery. Going on the thumb side here, this is your radial artery. Pinky side is going to be your ulnar artery, your palmar arch, and then up in the fingers, these red strings are going to be your digital arteries. Okay, now we're going to move on to the leg. So let me switch models again. Okay. So you see where the top of the leg is going to be down here, and then we're going to move down to the toes up here. So let's start down here at the top of the leg. You can see here, this artery and vein here are going to be your femoral artery and vein. So again, this is at the very top of the leg. The red would be femoral artery, the blue would be femoral vein, or femoral, however you want to say it. At the back of the kneecap here, you have the red popliteal artery and the blue popliteal vein. Again, this is the back of the knee, so you can see it there. So the red would be your popliteal artery and the blue would be your popliteal vein. Now on the front side of the leg here, you're seeing the front side so you can see the toes. This bone right here is your tibia. So this artery that sits right here on the top of the front side of the tibia is going to be your anterior tibial artery. And then when you turn it down to the back of the leg, the one on the back side of the tibia, right here you see it in red, that's going to be your posterior tibial artery. So again, going back down to the beginning here, this is going to be the top of the leg. The red here is your femoral artery. The blue is your femoral vein. Behind the kneecap here, you have the red is your popliteal artery. The blue is your popliteal vein. And you can see we are on the back side of the leg here. Remember, your big bone in the bottom part of your leg is your tibia. So this red right here on the back of the leg is your posterior tibial artery. Then when we flip it around to the front side, you can see the front side of the tibia here, and sitting on the front side of the tibia, you have this artery. This artery is your anterior tibial artery.